Hey everyone, AB here with Skip's Tactical Solutions. So we are here with another episode of Tactical Tuesday. As you can see, I have a guest with me, and our guest today is from Swampfox Optics, and his name is Mike. So Mike, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Hey, glad to be here.
As you all come on the live, please let us know where you are joining from. And we would love it if you would hit this video with a thumbs up and also share this with someone that you think may enjoy it. And if you share it, as always, remember to tag us so that we can repost it. And if your profile is private, then we're not going to be able to do that. So you can always shoot me a DM and I will see it and I will repost it. So I hope you guys are having a great day. Today we will be talking about Swampfox Optics, and let's do some quick hellos. So I see we have Venom GT72 in here, and he said that he just picked up some optic from, a scope from Swampfox. And we have the amazing Young Dragons Creations in here as our favorite moderator. Marv, hello, thank you for joining tonight. And Art is here, and Art has not joined us in a very long time, so thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We have the fabulous Karen in here tonight as well. Thank you for joining. Let's see who else we have. We have David Cunningham from West Palm Beach, Florida. Thank you for tuning in. And if this is anyone's first time tuning in, please let us know that it's your first time. Okay, so we have that taken care of. So thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. And we are here for another Tactical Tuesday. We have Mike, and he is going to school us on Swampfox Optics. So if you're not familiar with the company, make sure that you hit us with the comments so that he can answer your questions. He's here. We have an hour. If you guys want, we can be here for a little bit longer. But for now, we have an hour, and we will be answering all your questions in relation to their products. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. D. Mike, thanks for joining us. And David Cunningham said that it is his first time. If it is your first time, I want you guys to know, make sure that you stay tuned until the end of the video, because we will be doing a giveaway. And then here in a few, we will be announcing the winners from last week's giveaway. Last week, we had Canic/Century Arms on, and we were able to get some goodies. So we got a little mail call too, I guess we can call it. And first, I would love for you to introduce yourself, Mike.
Hey, so I'm Mike Branson. I'm Product Marketing Director for Swampfox. And Swampfox is a relatively new and upcoming. We're a young brand, but we're on the attack. I've been Product Marketing Director for a little bit more than a year now. And I came up, I had been with another company before and made the switch to Swampfox about a year ago. And at that time, we had 2 red dots and the first low power variable series, the Tomahawks, and it seems like a whole different life now when I first came on board. And we have been working really hard to put out a wide variety of precision scopes, red dots, pistol red dots that can go on your handgun, more low power variables, and now we're coming out with prism scopes. It's a wide variety of things, and we've been really working really hard on developing them and testing them out and making sure that they're ready. So it's really cool how fast we have come out with new products, and just the pace of development is a lot of fun for what we're doing.
All right, so thank you so much for that. So Swampfox Optics, is there anything in particular that made you gravitate towards Swampfox?
Yeah. Wow. So we're out of Denver. I'm in Houston. So they're very kind and let me remote in. So I was doing the whole work from home thing before COVID-19 even hit. So I kind of got lucky that way that I was already kind of in the swing of working from home and telecommuting, and I do a lot remotely, and then I fly up to Denver where headquarters is, and I go up there when we have meetings, and I get new prototypes to test out, and we work on stuff up there too. But the company's based out of Denver, and I just was really happy to be in a place where these guys were really on the attack, and were going to develop their own stuff and really listen to shooters and say, okay, what do guys really want? What are they willing to pay for? What's the stuff that they would like, but they're not really, you don't really want to pay for that much for it? Where how can we build the best value scopes in the whole damn world? And by value, I mean, for each dollar you spend, you get the most performance out of your scope. You know, people see value and they think that it has to be cheap junk, and it doesn't. That's not what I mean. Affordable doesn't have to be junk. Affordable can be very tough. It can be very good, but you have to be smarter about how you do it. And we're a very smart company.
I like that. So I loved all that you just said, because I'm all about loving when the companies are listening to the consumers, listening to the shooters, and actually valuing their feedback. So I appreciate that. Okay, so we're going to hit one question first. Art said, can you ask how Swampfox conducts their R&D, considering that they're a newer company and may have less budget than others?
It's a very good question. So I can't give real specific details on it. I can't, but I can give you some idea. So we have some friends who've been very kind to us in the military law enforcement community. And these are guys who get paid to shoot, and they are very highly trained. And when they talk to me about what they want, I shut up and listen, because as much as I know about scopes, they know more about how to use the scopes. They're the ones they're way better shots than I am, and they shoot a lot more than I do. And I like to test stuff out myself too. I've got some prototype scopes and I'm putting them on my guns, and I shoot every week. But the amount of rounds that they fire downrange compared to the amount of rounds that I can afford to fire downrange is not even close. So there's a competitive SWAT team, Team Missouri Tactical in Missouri, and we sponsor them. We hooked into them fairly quickly. These guys are absolute badasses. They're great guys, and I admire them so much. But they fire many rounds, a whole lot more ammo than I ever will. Thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds more than I can. And so they really give the scopes a workout, and they give the scopes a workout in terms of how they're actually supposed to be used. You can see these guys on YouTube with the torture test channels, and they're doing stuff like dragging it up and down a gravel road. Okay, that's fine, but that's not really how the product is supposed to be used, right? So if you just use the thing and you shoot thousands of rounds through it, does it break or does it survive? What breaks first? Can we strengthen that thing that broke first and make it better before it becomes a production model? That's what we do. We iterate. We have what I call alpha prototypes, and then we have beta prototypes. So the alpha prototype's like a proof of concept, and the beta prototype is, okay, we think we're pretty darn close. And then you get what's called a pre-production sample, which is, okay, this is one sample of what the production scope's supposed to look like. Make sure nothing is wrong, because this is exactly what the customer is going to get. So the pre-production prototypes have to be perfect. And they have to withstand a real butt whooping. So that's kind of it's a 3-step iteration usually, and it takes months. I mean, we've got some products that are getting ready to drop here this month, and like Liberty and Justice are the new pistol dot sights, and I've been every day carrying a prototype, an alpha prototype Liberty, since October, and here we are in May, and the product's still not ready for sale. So it's a long process, and it's a lot of work to make sure that you're building a product that's going to stand the test of time. It's going to stand up to all those thousands of rounds fired.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. So I'm glad that you guys were able to get some solid connections fairly quickly to be able to get that good feedback.
Yeah, they're really good guys. We have some guys that are overseas with some of our scopes too, and they're holding up very well. But yeah, when I think about those guys overseas with our stuff, I just want them all to come back safe. They're such good men, such good men.
Absolutely. All right, Swampfox Optics. Who's the target customer for you guys?
Okay, so our target customer is the guy who wants, I like to say there's three kinds of guys in the United States. There's only three. There's the guy who brags about how little he paid. There's the guy that brags about how much he paid. And then there's the guy that will pay anything, but he wants the most performance for each dollar. The third guy is my guy. I want to sell scopes to the guy who wants the most performance per dollar spent. The guy that doesn't want to spend any money at all, he's not really looking for value. And the guy who just wants to brag about how much he spent, he's never going to be our guy either, because there's always going to be a bunch of stuff that's more expensive than us. So we want sort of blue collar working guys, working gals who, you know, they want to participate. They want to be a shooter. They want to build a skill set. They want to be able to defend the house. They want to be in competition and not be last, but they don't have $5,000 to spend on a rifle and scope setup. And they want to be competitive. You know, we can do that. That's possible in 2020. It's very possible. Those are
we have a few people in here that were interested in the product. So I think this is a great opportunity for them to ask you all the questions and get them all answered so that they can go out and purchase the product.
Yeah, I see Art's like hammering us here. He's got all these questions. Go for it, man. Yeah, so I've got some scopes here. I don't have, he's asking me, I see, do we have any thoughts on hitting the single stack red dot market? Yes, and I can't show you because it's mounted on a Canic. So YouTube rules are what they are, but we will have a small footprint, the RMSC footprint. It's called Sentinel, and it's really good. And that's going to be coming out soon. So yes, Art, that is definitely going to be a thing. But what I've got that I can show you, I've got low power variables, which is what we were going to talk about.
Okay. So we're going to go into this, I guess, fairly slowly. So if you're watching this, please let us know if you're familiar with optics and or scopes. And if you're not, then we want to answer all your questions as well. So we're going to kind of go from the ground up on this. So we're going to start with LPVOs. Can you explain that and then kind of show what you have?
Yeah. So I see Yarn Dragons is asking if we have a red dot. Yeah, we've got a couple of red dots that work great for ARs, obviously. The very first thing we did was a red dot. So let's start out with, you know, a red dot concept is something that's just 1x magnification. There's no zoom to it at all. There's no magnification, and it's super fast. And it's great for fast site acquisition up close. And what I mean up close, I mean everything from inside the house at 5 yards all the way to, say, 50 yards or so. You just need 1x. That's what red dots are for. A low power variable starts at 1x. So it's kind of like a red dot to start with. But if you want more capability, if you want longer range ability on top of the 1x, a low power variable goes to 4x or 6x or 8x or now even 10x. So here's our 1 to 10. So this is Arrowhead. And you can see there it is at 10 power. And all I have to do is I just turn the magnification ring and I'm at 1 power. So this is basically red dot mode. And then I can crank it up a little bit to say 3 or 4. Now I have the magnification of like an ACOG or a prism scope, which is very handy. If you've ever been hunting with a 3 to 9 scope, this also is like a 3 to 9 scope. I've got everything from 3 power all the way to 9, even 10 power. So it's kind of like a hunting scope too, where you've got the ability to zoom in quite a bit. So the nice thing about an LPVO versus a red dot is you have the ability to zoom in and take more precise shots from further away. So I've had some guys that have had good luck all the way out to 700, 800 yards with these things. That takes some work. It takes a really dialed in rifle and someone who really knows what they're doing with it. But these are, the 1 to 10s are $549 on our website. The 1 to 6s are $439. So, and that's MSRP. So that's what a LPVO is for. It's sort of a jack of all trades. and master of none. It's very flexible. If you want the maximum amount of flexibility for your AR, these are the new hotness. And they've been taking over the whole market in the last 5 years or so. One thing that I don't have on this one, because this is the mill dot prototype, or the mill reticle prototype, but it does come in the box. Since I had to do it the other way before, these scopes come with a throw lever in the box. We don't make you pay extra for that. So if I've got this on my rifle and I want to switch magnifications, I just crank this over like that, and it's super fast. So I can go between 1 and 10 just in a second or two. So that's something that, we include that. Other guys make you pay for it separately. So that's one good selling point for us. We try to include everything you need right in the box, so you don't have to buy a bunch of stuff separately to get set up.
Can you explain all the things that you provide in the box that normally would not come in the box?
Well, the throw lever is one thing. The flip caps are another thing. A lot of companies will include flip caps, but they're usually pretty janky and crappy. Ours are really nice. You don't have to upgrade with us. So these flip caps, this is how I like to run my flip caps. I like to flip this one to the side, so when I shoot, it doesn't hit my hat, right? Because if I have it oriented like this up top, sometimes I'll bop myself in the cap with it. So I'd like to do that one to the side. And then the front one I like to do down like that. So those are included. They're really nice. They don't suck. And you don't have to upgrade to Butler Creeks or something like that. They just come with it. The throw lever comes with it. On other scopes, depending on the application, like this is a big precision scope. This is Warhawk, right? So here's your flip cap for Warhawk. But you get you see that? You get a anti-reflection device in the box. There you go. There it focused. This is usually an expensive add-on. We actually include this for you guys. So, that's an example of the stuff that we include with our scopes. We have little throw levers, even with the precision scopes, comes right in the box.
Okay, so can you explain the use of the flip cap?
The use of them?
Yeah.
They protect the glass, so you don't get a bunch of dirt, mud, water, and other junk on your lenses. You can keep these relatively clean when you're in transport, when it's rattling around in the back of the truck, when it's in the gun safe or in the closet or whatever it is. It keeps everything clean. And then when you need to use a scope, you just flip it like that and you're ready to go. Super easy.
So yeah. I wanted you to explain that because we do have a few that have no idea about scopes or optics. So all the things that you're explaining, I appreciate how you're explaining the use of them. And it's nice that you guys include that. So I know when it comes to the throw lever and then the flip caps, like they're saving, that's at least like $100 that they're saving, right? Between all those things.
But some companies want $40 for one of those throw levers. And I mean, come on now. Or they make you go and look in the aftermarket and you got to Google up a bunch of stuff and try to find one that fits and works, and you hope you order the right one. We think every one of these low power variables should have the throw lever, because once you've used one, you'll never go back. You're like, oh, that's perfect. I want that on every scope, right? So we include one with every scope. So Joe was asking how easy it is to take out that. I'll just show you real quick while we chat. So this little guy, he just threads in like that. Yeah, super easy.
So Joe also
pretty intelligent questions here. These guys know what they're talking about. Got a good crew here.
Yes. Joe asked, how sensitive is the eye box? And can you explain the eye box and the importance of it, please?
Yes, that's a very important question. So when we talk about a red dot sight, and I don't, like I said, I don't have one lying around, but when we talk about a red dot sight, there is basically an unlimited eye box to a red dot sight. So I can take a red dot sight and I'm looking through it, and I can spin it around to a large extent. And as long as I can see the red dot, I can get a hit on target, right? The red dot never goes away. That's not true with a low power variable or a prism scope. So I have to have my eye in a certain place to look through this scope. There it is. I'm looking through it right now. And if I move my head too much, I go over this way. Oh, that was too far. Now I can't see anymore. Now I have to put my head back. If I go over this side, oh, that's too much. I can't see through it anymore. There's basically a box behind here in space, hanging in space. And my eye needs to be somewhere inside that box in order to look through the scope and use the scope. And that's a disadvantage of every scope in the whole world except for red dots. Red dots don't have an eye box. Red dots have other disadvantages, but they don't have an eye box disadvantage. The question that Joe was asking about how sensitive is the eye box is dependent on magnification. So at 1 power magnification, the eye box will be relatively very big. In fact, I can look up the specifications on my other monitor. On the 1 to 10, there's a specification called exit pupil. And exit pupil is the diameter of the shaft of light that's coming out the back of this thing. And your eye needs to hit that shaft of light. Your eye is about 4 millimeters wide. Your pupil is. So that's just a reference point. So at 1 power, you have an 8 millimeter exit pupil on this scope. So I have an eye box or an exit pupil that's double the width of my eye. It's pretty good. It's pretty fast. As I crank up magnification and zoom in more and more and more, all the way to 10 power, that shaft of light shrinks down and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller as magnification goes up. The knock on low power variables that go way high in magnification, like 1 to 8s and 1 to 10s, is that they can get very picky and hard to use at full magnification. So we have an exit pupil of only 2.3 millimeters on the 10x at full magnification. So my eye has to line up more or less with 2.3 millimeters worth of eye box. So what does that mean practically, right? I mean, the millimeters is one thing, but practically, what does it mean? Practically, it means 1x is going to be used, 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x is going to be great for standing offhand, run and gun, competition, shooting unsupported. Perfect. You're in great shape. If you go to 10 power or 8 power, then it gets harder to acquire, and you want to be shooting more supported, from prone, from a bench, from a bipod, something like that, to where you can put your eye behind the scope in the same place every time. That'll help you out a lot. One of the things that I'm proudest about in terms of Arrowhead is that the eye box is usable all the way through the whole magnification range. I'm an eye box snob. I don't like to use any scope that has an unusable eye box. I don't care how great the glass is supposed to be. If it's got expensive German glass in it and it's $3,000 scope and the eye box stinks, I'm going to hate that scope, and I'm not going to shoot that rifle that it's on. So I'm an eye box snob, and considering that we go all the way to 10 power in the Arrowhead, I think we did a really good job keeping it usable, and so where you can still find it and use it very quickly even at 10 power. It's a very smart question.
Thank you. I appreciate you for explaining that. All right, so let's see.
We're looking at all these questions. It's
so
awesome.
We have Defensor Fortis. And he said the main desirable optic for carbines are LPVO and red dots. What do you have for that? Do you have an optic to compare to the VX3, 1.5 to 5?
Because it's super light. It's literally like 9 ounces. We do not have anything that light. I like to tell people, and this is a little bit snarky, but it's just a saying that I have. In the world of scopes, you can have affordable, tough, lightweight. You can only choose 2 out of 3. You can't get all 3. So we went with affordable and tough, not lightweight. So our scopes are a little bit on the heavier side, but they're super tough and they're not crazy expensive. Those loopholes are very nice. It's a very good scope. It's a great option. They're not a true 1x down low. They weren't able to pull that off in that series, so you have to deal with a 1.5x instead of a true 1x. That matters to some people more than others. It doesn't bother me that much, but some people can't stand a 1.5 for whatever reason. And that is a very nice lightweight scope. We have hopes and dreams to do a lightweight scope this year, but we're in the planning stages on that. We don't even have the alpha prototype yet. So, but it's something that we would like to do, is build a super small and light, like a 1-4, that would be really compact and lightweight. It would be a fun project, I think.
All right, so another question from Art. He asks, how does Swampfox determine which reticle to use?
That's a good question. Part of it is input from the R&D guys, the testing guys, that'll say, hey, this is what other people are doing. This is what we would like to see them do differently. Can you do something like this? Can you do something like that? We've also taken advice directly from customers. Last year in April, we went to the NRA show in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we had a ton of guys that were looking through our Tomahawks, and we're going, hey, you know, we really like these Tomahawks. We like the glass. It's very clear. It's easy to look through. But they were saying, look, I've shot crosshairs for years. I'm not interested in a fancy BDC reticle. I don't really shoot past 100 yards. I'm hunting in a hilly area, and all of my shots are 100 yards and in. So I don't need a fancy bullet drop compensating reticle. I just want crosshairs. Can you do that? So after about 20 guys told us that, we were like, well, we better go ahead and do that. So we made the Spear Duplex reticle, which you can get in the Tomahawk in 1-4, 1-6, and 1-8. And it's a basic, simple reticle with crosshairs and a red dot in the middle that you can illuminate if you want to. And that was simply because of an experience we had at the NRA show where people asked us to do it. And we went, okay, you know, why not? If that's what they ask for, it's what we're going to do. You know, it depends on what the shooting application is. Some people like MIL, some people like MOA. So we want to do both of those whenever we possibly can. And some people like BDC, which is bullet drop compensating. And I don't know if you want me to explain all of that stuff, but those are the three big ones. And we try to cover our bases with all three systems.
All right, so can you explain the MIL and the MOA?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go into that. Sure. So,
and so you don't have to go like super in.
Yeah, I know. So this, you see how I got a sticker on this one? This is a prototype. It says, let's see, I can actually show you guys. Red MIL. So this is one of a kind here. This is a prototype, and this is an Arrowhead MIL or MRAD, and that's basically the metric version of how to range and engage. So MIL is, think of it in terms of the metric system. It's a 10 base system, and it works best in meters, not yards. And if you do everything in meters, the math is really easy to do, and you can look through the reticle and it will tell you how far away things are if you know how to run the math on that. And if you know how far away they are, you can use the reticle to serve as what we call holdovers, where instead of shooting with the middle part of the reticle, you shoot with the little hash marks and ticks that are underneath, and you aim high. As range increases, you aim higher and higher and higher, and then the bullet gets pushed down by gravity and hits the target further and further away. So there's ballistic calculators that can help you out with all of this stuff, but milliradians is what Europe usually uses, and it's also what the military sometimes uses. There are a lot of military guys that I talk to who are MIL shooters because the Army just beat it into them that was the best way to go, and that's what they know. And I'm happy to make MIL reticles for those guys. Good for them. A lot of people think that it's the better system of the two. So this is going to be a new product that we're going to launch probably in a couple of weeks. Before the end of the month, we will have the milliradian arrowheads. Having focus problems. We'll have the milliradian arrowheads will be ready to go, and they'll be up for sale. And they'll be in both red and green illumination, which is pretty cool. The green is really nice. And then MOA is sort of the American version of the same thing. So a minute of angle is about 1 inch at 100 yards, and about 2 inches at 200 yards, and about 3 inches at 300 yards. And you have a reticle inside the scope that serves as your aiming points, and you can range with it. You can see how far away things are, and once you know how far away they are, you can use the reticle to hit them at different distances. So that's sort of the two competing math versions. There's kind of the American yards version, which is MOA, and then there's sort of the European or military metric system version, which is mils. I think that's fairly a fair way of putting it. It's really complicated.
I appreciate
There's
that.
a lot of math involved.
And I also have the photos the images, and I can show those as well.
Come on, computer magic.
I don't know if you saw the comment, but Art said the fact that you use the word janky means that you've earned a customer for life.
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, I want people to know that we're real shooters, you know, like I'm out at the range every weekend firing live rounds, and you know, that's who we are. Like, we're regular Joes, you know. We're not like stuffed shirt corporate guys, you know. We're shooters, man. We talk the talk.
And Art asked if there was lightweight scope mounting recommendations.
Okay, so we don't have a super lightweight scope mount. We have a one-piece mount called Independence mount that is really good for the money. It's like $60, and that'll get the job done. But it's not super light. If you're trying to do a lightweight build and you want to run an LPVO, I think Aero Precision. They have Aero Precision has a very nice lightweight mount that doesn't break the bank. It's not too expensive for what you get. I'm a big fan of Aero Precision. The stuff that they do is always well done for the money. They're a lot like us, but with AR stuff. So you really can't go wrong with them. But that Aero Precision lightweight build is also not the strongest. You know, there are guys that have broken them when it fell out the back of the pickup truck and that sort of thing. So again, if you go lightweight, just know that you're inviting a little bit more of a fragile build. And if you want it to be built like a tank, you have to pay a little bit more, and it's going to weigh a little bit more. But Aero's the way to go on lightweight mounts.
And then Art asked another question. So for LPVO, it's 6 times. What yardage would be its limit? And then what about 8 times and 10 times? Okay,
good question. Good question. Oh my gosh, your kid is cute. He's got like a little Captain America kid. That was adorable. Don't put me on here. Get that kid on your YouTube channel. You'll get a ton of viewers. So the old rule of thumb was one times magnification for every 100 yards of engagement range. And I still buy into that quite a bit. So if I want to shoot at 300 yards, I probably need realistically a 3x prism scope to shoot at 300 yards. Can I make hits with a 1x red dot at 300 yards? Not every time. Even if I'm doing everything right, I might get some hits, but not 100%. If I want to shoot at 500 yards, I probably need a 5x scope, right? So in the BDC version of these, which is actually the one that has the throw lever on it, might as well pick up the right scope. So in this scope, the bullet drop compensating reticle that's set for 5.56 NATO and 308 goes out to 800 yards. So I've got a 10 power scope here, and I have the ability in the reticle to at least try to take shots at 800 yards. With a scope that also does a lot of the things that a red dot does at 1 power. That's pretty freaking cool. It's very flexible, like I said. Realistically, what we're finding in the real world is most guys with these scopes are good to about 500 yards without having to do any math. If you got a 16-inch carbine and you're shooting 55 grain 5.56 through it, you're good to about 500 yards, and you don't have to pull out a ballistics calculator. If you want to go past that, there's all these variables that start to add up, like barometric pressure and your altitude above sea level and the ballistic coefficient of your round and all that other stuff. And you have to start getting a little bit smarter about it. But there are guys who can hit at 800 yards with these things. I've seen it done. That's pretty cool because, like I said, 10 years ago, nobody was shooting at 800 yards with a 5.56 carbine and a scope that wasn't even $600. That would have been impossible 10 years ago.
Yeah. So we're going to give Mike a quick break, and we're going to give our Patreon supporters their shout outs that they deserve. And then we're going to announce the winners from last week's giveaway. And then we're going to come back to Mike, and then we're going to announce a giveaway for this week as well. So make sure that you guys stay tuned. So if you don't know, I have a Patreon, and the Patreon is a way for you to support me as a content creator. If you've never created content before, then you have no idea how much goes into creating content. And it may be FFL fees when it comes to getting a firearm to do a review, or it may be that I am actually having to purchase the firearm and I have to pay for that out of my pocket. So as you guys know, I have 2 kids, and yeah, this mama, first of all, they're almost both teenagers and they eat the entire house. So yeah, and Patreon just allows them to support me, and you can support from anywhere from $1 a month all the way up to $50 a month. So I really appreciate all of my Patreon supporters because they are enabling me to get software, and the software kind of like we're using right now to stream to YouTube. These things are not free, and I'm able to do this with the help of my patrons. So really quick, I'm going to give them a shout out, and shout out to Aaron Harrison, Adam Jimenez, Chris Fulmer, which I think Chris may be on right now, Demont, who was on earlier, Deanna, who is on right now, Donovan, G. Webbs, James Scott, who is my most recent Patreon supporter. So thank you so much, James, for joining the Patreon team. And Ken Blanchard, Marv Lee, who I saw on here earlier. And we have Michael Stan, Natalie Zett, Sonia H., Turbo, Varden Gilroy, and Wallace Tucker. So thank you so much to all of my Patreon supporters. I truly appreciate each and every one of you for everything that you do. And now let's get to the announcing of the giveaway from last week. So if you were on the live chat, then you know that we have a live chat winner, and then we have a winner from the YouTube comments. So Patreon, I want you guys to make sure that you're looking, because you guys have your own separate giveaway when it comes to the items from Canic/Century Arms, all right? So actually first I'm going to show you guys a couple of the things that I got, and then we will announce the winners. So Canic came out with this really nice shirt, and the first time that I saw it was at SHOT Show. So this is, hold on, Pew Pew Canic.
Nice.
And then you guys have to check out the back. Hold on, there you go. So it's super cool. So whoever wins, you get to pick your choice from a few different styles of shirts. All right. So that's one of the shirts. And then the other shirt is Century Arms.
Ooh, pink.
So it's like a red. So that's the front, and then the back.
Nice.
And one more.
US Bull.
That's super neat, isn't it? And then weather any storm. And then we have one last one. And this is another US palm, just a different color. Guys, I think this one's actually my size. All right, so on top of that, we also have each person that wins the giveaway, you will be able to get a shirt, a patch, and a sticker, okay? So here's one of the patches. And you guys can see it's still in the plastic, so one of their patches. I really like this one. And we have a US palm. And a banana mag. And then, of course, we have some stickers to go with it as well. So we have the Blackout Edition Canic, which I love. We have the Team AK for all you AK fans out there. And I really like this sticker, but be superior. And then we have a Red Army Standard.
Yay, cheap ammo. These
right,
are cheap ammos we can get these days.
When it comes to the winners from last week, so our first winner is, I can't say your last name right, but Joe Q, you are one of the winners. I saw that you were in here earlier, and everyone who wins, just make sure that you reach out at skipstacticalsolutions@gmail.com with your name, your address, and what product you would like. So if it's going to be the US palm shirt in size large, whatever it's going to be, just make sure that you let us know what patch, what shirt, and what sticker you would like, and we will get those shipped out to you, okay? But you can reach out on email, you can DM or message on Facebook or Instagram, okay? So make sure that you guys reach out so that we can get these products shipped out to you. So Joe Q was one of the winners, and then the other winner was Rod Wilson. So Rod Wilson, please reach out, and congratulations to both of you for your wins. And if we don't have your size, then I will respond and let you guys know, okay? But I really appreciate you guys participating in the giveaway. Like you guys know, I love giving stuff away, okay? So that's that from last week. And I mean, I'm really digging these. Like, I just got, Mike, do you have a patch wall?
Yeah, I do, actually. Yeah, got one in the gun room.
So I just got my patch wall, and I'm like super stoked about it.
Nice. Yeah, the patches are fun because, you know, hopefully they come with a good memory. A lot of my patches I got at SHOT Show, and it reminds me of this guy or that gal, or, you know, oh yeah, I remember that booth was super cool that year. So
yep.
Yeah, that's always fun.
So you mentioned that you had something on a Canic. What Canic was it?
So, gosh, I wish I could show it. So it's a Canic Elite Subcompact, Elite SC. So we have Generation 2, second generation pistol red dots that are coming out, and they will work on ARs too. Whoever the lightweight guy is that's talking about doing a lightweight build, get an RMR cut red dot that weighs like 1 ounce in a little riser mount, and that is a super lightweight solution as long as you're willing to do a red dot and you don't need the magnification, or you want to do a magnifier or something. But anyway, most of these will go on. They're meant for concealed carry and law enforcement use. And we've got 2 big ones that are the RMR footprint, which is the most common footprint for like the big Canics, like the TP9s, use the RMR footprint. And those are called Liberty and Justice, and they're going to be coming out real soon. And then towards the end of the month, we're going to release, if everything goes well, towards the end of the month, we will release Sentinel, which is a tiny little footprint. It's the Shield RMSC footprint. So the whole thing is just 1 inch long and 1 inch wide. It's like the size of my thumb. It's got a 2032 battery in it. The battery life lasts for 2 years, which is a big improvement for us. And we have two versions. There's a manual version and an automatic version. So the manual version has a push buttons on the side for brightness up and down, and it has what we call a shake and wake, where if you put it down, 4 minutes later it falls asleep and saves its battery power. You pick it up and it turns itself right back on immediately. So that's the manual version. The automatic version has no buttons at all. We talked, again, listening to consumers, listening to customers. We were talking to guys like, hey, you're carrying a gun concealed all day, every day with the dot. What are your worries? What are your concerns? And one of the things that they said was, I get worried that I'm going to shut this thing off by accident. I'm going to push a button. It's going to hit my seatbelt in my car, or it's going to press up against my belly or my belt buckle or something because I'm carrying appendix, and I'm going to need this thing and it'll have shut off on me. That's like the nightmare, right? That's the nightmare situation. So for those guys, the automatic version, you put the battery in the bottom and it automatically adjusts to ambient brightness level to always give you a really bright dot. At no matter what the ambient light is, you always get a really bright dot that doesn't wash out. And you just leave it alone, and it's always on for 2 years, no matter what. That's why we named it Sentinel, because the Sentinel is always on guard, right? And I think that's super cool. And those will be under, we don't know, I don't remember pricing exactly, but they will be under $300 MSRP. And they will be absolutely tough. They're made of 7075 aluminum, hard coated, really tough. They're rated to 1500 Gs of recoil, which is insane. Like, that would hurt my wrist way worse. So anyway, yeah, we're coming for you, Holosun. Yeah, we're coming for you guys. We got a little something for you. We're working hard.
We're gonna have a duel. All right, so question from Joe Q. No, sorry, it wasn't Joe Q. David Cunningham. He said, what scope or red dot do you recommend me using for my AR build? What's the length of your AR build?
And what kind of shooting do you want to do with it? I like to define the role of the rifle first before you start choosing tools to do that role.
Absolutely.
I like to work.
Yeah, so if you let us know those things, then we will absolutely help you with your selection.
We have some cool stuff. We have some good stuff. All our stuff is very AR friendly. We haven't even talked about prism scopes. That's a whole other conversation, right? Yeah.
So we had like a whole plan, and we're going to keep this structure, but you guys are coming in with so many good questions. Another question that Art asked was, how is the COVID virus impacting business?
Well, our business is going really well, and we're lucky. I'm very lucky. I'm taking this thing very seriously, and I think we all should. I get really tired of a lot of the snarky crap on Facebook where people think it's not real and it's all a hoax. I think this thing's real. So wash your hands and act like a grown-up, because it's real and it's out there. We're very fortunate. We're still operating. We're still shipping products every day. We're still able to, I'm able to go shoot and test out scopes. I'm already used to working from home. So, that's already sort of set in stone and figured out. So we have not been impacted that badly. And I'm very fortunate. I feel very, very lucky. There's a lot of people who are out on their ass right now, guys, who are really hurting. And, if you have a chance to be a friend to somebody who has lost their job and they need some cash or they need some food, make a grocery run for them. Be a friend. Listen to them. We got to take care of each other. Ordinary Americans got to take care of each other during this thing. The government's not very good at doing it. Corporations aren't very good at doing it. Us ordinary blue collar guys that want to shoot, we got to take care of the other blue collar guys. We got to take care of our friends. Please go do that. That's all I got to say about that.
I appreciate that, Mike.
Yeah, we got to take care of each other.
Another question. So the prices of firearms, ammunition, all of those things are going up, right? So do you guys find that you're having to up the prices on your products?
Not yet. Hopefully we can avoid that. Boy, I hate buying ammo these days. Woo! Even 9mm, I'm like, woo, you know. But no, we haven't had to hike up any prices, and we haven't had any real shortages of you know, like selling out of optics and not being able to make more, and you know, because we can't get the you know, materials to make them or anything like that. So far, knock on wood, it hasn't really hurt us that bad.
That's great. That is really, really good to hear.
I think we're pretty lucky so far. This thing's not over yet, but I think we're gonna be on the attack this year. You know, we're putting our foot down hard on the gas pedal. Yeah.
All right, so I see Art asked, would the blade be purely for CQB?
Yes. Yeah, and I have one. So somebody was asking about red dots for ARs, and we do have the Liberty and Justice, the Kingslayer, the Liberator. Those are all red dots that'll work on ARs. So that's like a whole conversation I can have with that guy to say which one's right for you, how much do you want to pay, what kind of mount do you want, right? But this was our baby from last year, from 2019. We worked really hard to develop this little guy. He's a 1X prism scope, and we developed this as a budget law enforcement scope and a home defense scope. So it's perfect for home defense. That 7.5, David, boy, you better put on some earplugs if you're going to touch that thing off for home defense. Get your get your hearing protection hanging right next to that rifle. But yeah, this will go in a pinch. It'll make it out to 200 yards because of the way the reticle is set up, but it's mostly designed for 50 yards and in. So it works for anybody's eyes. If you have astigmatism like I do and you don't really see a red dot very well, I always see like a bow tie or I see a comet. This works a heck of a lot better for that. It has the shake awake, so I can turn this on and I can lean it up against the closet, you know, the door of the safe or the closet or whatever, and 4 minutes later it turns off. Something goes bump in the night. 6 months down the road, I pick it up and it turns right back on. To my last brightness setting. It's daylight bright. They come in green and red. They're super tough, and they're under $300 MSRP. If you catch a coupon code or a sale, you can get them for even less than that. They're fantastic. I'm super proud of what we did with Blade. There's no reason for law enforcement guys on a budget to be rolling around with crappy scopes and iron sights in the dark. When you can do this for under $300.
I was just about to ask
Well, you can see, again, the anti-reflective device comes in the box. You can see that. You can get the light to shine.
Yep, right there.
Yeah. And then, woo, it's fun. There we go. See my beard. Anyway. There we go.
There it goes.
So that's an etched reticle there. So that works whether the battery is dead or the unit's powered down or whatever. I always have a way to aim it anyway, and then I can. That's super bright in here indoors. See how that's daylight bright? Let's turn that a little bit. Anyway, come on, there we go. That's a little bit more decent for indoor use. So yeah, the camera's kind of hard to work with, but you guys get the idea. It's very red dot-ish, very much like a red dot, but in some ways it's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the mount's built into it, so you don't have to buy anything separate. Holds a big fat CR123A flashlight battery in there, so you get good battery life because it's got a big battery that's built into the base. So lots of cool little tricks.
I like that you guys are providing so many different options, and especially when it comes to law enforcement, they may not necessarily get paid the best, but they need to have the best equipment.
Yeah, there's another interview that I did that's on YouTube that the AR15.com guys interviewed me in the SHOT Show booth, and I was telling them about how cops were asking for this, and the law enforcement guys were wanting it, and you can see in the comments section there are guys that are like, who's going to choose that over a Trichicon ACOG or a Night Force? Who's this guy think he is? And I'm like, y'all aren't talking to the same cops I'm talking to.
Yeah.
These guys need, you know, they've got 10 rifles in the department that they need to outfit. They only have a certain amount of money to spend. They could outfit one rifle with a Night Force and everybody else would have no way to aim. Or they can spend $300 on 10 rifles is all of a sudden $3,000 that they've got to spend, right? It adds up really quick when you're trying to outfit a whole department of guys.
Yeah, and that's something that we were kind of talking about earlier too. We're not necessarily going with the product that costs the most. We're going with the product that's going to be a quality product, but it comes in at an affordable price as well.
Yeah, I want everybody to be able to afford a scope that won't break.
So Joe asks, what's the MOA of the circle?
Oh, yeah, I wish I could do a screen share, but so it's a trident.
Is that, did you send me that one?
I don't think I did.
Okay, so
yeah.
you could screen share. I don't know if you're able to.
Yeah, I can. Let me try it real quick. Get this ready over here.
So while Mike is getting that ready,
yeah.
I'll tell you guys, I was able to meet Mike, was it 2 years ago?
A couple years now.
A couple years ago at SHOT Show, and he was working with a different company, and I was super new to the gun community. And I think I kind of shared this with you guys, like when I first started with the gun community, some companies were not really welcoming, and some companies are all about how many numbers do you have? Do you have 10,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel? Do you have 20,000 followers on Instagram? And what I will tell you is I went to the booth and I wanted to do a booth interview, and Mike was extremely accommodating. We talked about what I did, and I also talked about why I did it and a little bit of my background. And we did an interview. We took some selfies. We had a ton of fun. And those are the types of people that I like to talk to. I like to connect with, because it's showing that they're real humans. And they, like, he actually talked about how he was so excited to see where I would be in a couple of years, because he knew that I was going to do great things. So I really appreciate that first interview. And then I appreciate this interview as well, because you guys obviously have some great products, but it's nice that everyone who is following me / supporting me, they're able to get to see the people behind this brand.
That's awesome that you remember it so well. It makes me so happy. It really does.
I remember that we had a very long conversation, and I was taking photos and all that. And I'll definitely look and see if I can find our photo together before this live is over. But I just wanted them to know that, because sometimes you really don't get to see some of these people. You know, you hear about the companies or the people that work with the companies, but I did not see you this past year at SHOT Show, but I was able to meet him, and he was just as phenomenal in person, and passed along his information and said if I needed anything to reach out. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah. So I'm going to screen share up. I don't know if you can see it and switch it.
Yeah, so I'm about to add it to the stream.
Hey, there we go. So this is off of our website, swampfoxoptics.com. You can see all of my you can see all of my other stuff up there. I'm an F1 guy. Yeah, I like the AKs, you know. Anyway. So this is subtensions here, and you have about a 65 MOA circle here. And the difference in what we did with Blade is we did bullet rise compensation instead of bullet drop compensation, because bullet drop compensation in a 1X is not super realistic. It's I won't get into the details of it, but I don't think it works out very well. What the problem that you have when you're doing close quarters is your center line of your optic is sitting over your barrel. And so you wind up hitting low up close. You'll hit about 2.5 inches low at 5 yards or 10 yards or 15 yards, maybe a little bit less than that. And so I decided we would try to compensate for that. So in this reticle, you have a 50-200 yard battle sight 0 for 5.56. So you sight in at 50 yards there. And then at 100 yards, it raises up just a little bit, and then it falls back down at 200 to the tip of the trident again. The bottom of the trident is a 15-yard hold. The dot is a 10-yard hold, and I call this the carrot down at the bottom, and that's a 5-yard hold. So if I'm in a home defense situation and I know that my bedroom door is 5 yards away from the corner of my bed, don't aim with this part, aim down here with this part, and you can zap that bad guy right between the eyes every time with extreme accuracy in close quarters, because this is where you should be aiming in order to make that hit happen. And we crunched the numbers on the math ourselves. We figured it out. I proved it in live fire for the first time. We built the alpha prototype. We went through the whole thing, and it really does work. It's also a good thing for competitors, because sometimes in competition, you'll have this array of targets is at 5 yards and this array of targets is at 10 yards, and you kind of know in advance, right? And so if I have an array of targets at 5 yards, I can use this hold, and then if I go to the next array of targets at 10 yards, I use this hold, and I have a very, very precise point of aim every time. So that's how this works. It's like a circle dot reticle, but with a cool trick that it can do to help you out in close quarters. People really like it. It's gotten a pretty good reception. I'm super proud of it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Let's see what else we have in here.
Art says he appreciates the sensible wallet because I do want to stay married. And that's what a lot of those law enforcement guys say, is that, hey, the chief says I can put something on my patrol rifle, but it's got to come out of my pocket. And if I spend more than $300, I'm in trouble with the wife and I want to stay married. So you're not the first guy to say that, Art.
All right, so we talked about a lot of things tonight, and we had like a whole, I don't want to say a script, but we did kind of have an outline. We were going to talk about LPVOs and then precision rifle scopes, but you guys came with some really good questions tonight. I want you guys to make sure that you continue to drop those questions down in the comments below so that we can have your questions answered. And I do have a few more questions that I want to ask. Let's see. So Art said, can the blade reticle translate to PCC? I know most folks use their 223 as their home defense, but I'm feeling more likely to have my CZ Scorpion as my go-to.
So a good question. And I'm not necessarily going to give him the answer that he wants to hear, but not for the reason. So yes, the reticle will work with 9mm PCC and 45. And if you zero at 50, you don't get, of course, the 200-yard bonus, but the math up close works really well. I've had a couple of guys already with 9mm PCC ARs that have confirmed to me that they've gotten it to work fine. The problem with a CZ Scorpion Evo in this is that the base is built in. So on the Evo, man, you're going to want something that sits really low because the stock is below the mounting surface of the receiver rail. So if you put this thing on there, you're going to have a cheek weld problem where your head's going to be floating above the stock of your Evo, and that's not ideal. So I'd be careful about putting this on an Evo. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably go with a low profile red dot, like the upcoming Liberty and Justice. Probably what I would do instead. So many good questions.
I know. This could have literally just been a Q&A, and it would have been good. And then we could have had like our, hey, so we're going to talk about this and we're going to talk about that.
I'm full of unsolicited opinions.
Aren't we all?
I got an opinion on everything.
Okay, guys, so we talked about a lot of things tonight. There's a couple more questions that I have. And the first question is, what is your 50,000 round guarantee?
Right. So the 50,000 round guarantee is our warranty. Very simply, the way that we look at it is that the optic has to work as advertised. It has to function for 50,000 rounds of ammo. If it gets all scratched up, that's fine. If it gets all dinged up, that's fine. It happens when you're, using your scopes hard, they'll get scratched up. But if it stops working, then that's when the guarantee comes into play. So if you have not fired 50,000 rounds of lav ammo through your scope and it stops working, we will repair or replace. You'll either get your scope back after a repair has been done, or more likely, right now at least, you'll just get a new scope. We'll send you out a new one. If you've hit 50,000 rounds fired through your gun, then you've probably burned out the barrel twice or 3 times by then. And at that point, you got your money's worth out of us. So, we'll get you a deal on another one. But effectively, for most of us, the 50,000 round guarantee is effectively a lifetime warranty. Most guys are not going to shoot 50,000 rounds through in a really, really, really long time. I mean, it'll take them 10 years. If you're shooting 5,000 rounds a year through your rifle, then 10 years from now, you're going to hit that 50,000. And at that point, you got your money's worth out of our scope. Yeah.
And so the other question is, if someone wanted to purchase your products, where would they be able to find your products?
Right. So the website that I just showed has all of our products on it and all of the info. And so that's swampfoxoptics.com. Swampfoxoptics.com. Super easy. You can find our stuff at Optics Planet. You can find our stuff at Cheaper Than Dirt. There are other online retailers that are coming on board with us. We are building a brick and mortar network of dealers who are stocking dealers, local gun stores who want to sell, a good scope for the money and try to make a buck. We have a very good dealer program for those people because ideally, what I would like to be able to do is tell people, hey, just go to your local gun store and look through our scope, because it's hard to buy a scope online because of some guy you saw on YouTube. You never met the guy and you never looked through the scope and you're going to buy this thing sight unseen. I get that. That's a tough sell. It would be a lot easier for me to just say, well, yeah, go to your local gun store and they'll have one. You can look through it for yourself. So we're working very hard on building up a dealer network.
Right, so all you guys that are interested, I dropped the website down in the comments.
Thank you.
And once this video is over, if you're watching the replay, that's okay because the website will be in the description of the video as well. Let's see. Okay, so when it comes to Swampfox Optics, you guys have a lot of new things that are coming out. And they seem to be coming out at a relatively great price. You guys, it seems like you know exactly what's on the market and you're meeting / exceeding what's already out there on the market. And that's something that's really, really good. So if you guys have any more questions, make sure that you drop your questions down in the comments below. But I am very, very excited for what you have coming out. And I appreciate you coming on tonight. It seems like you guys have something for a little bit of everyone.
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying to. Yeah, if it's a red dot, if it's depending on everything from up close and personal to 1,000 yards away, we have something that will work for that shooting application, and it will cost less than the other guys, and it won't break. It might weigh a little bit more.
And I like that you offer the warranty because obviously when it comes to the optics, some folks are very hard out there when they're at the range and, putting it in and out of the safe and in and out of the vehicle. So I'm glad that you offer that. Yeah,
I mean, the best warranty is one that you don't need because the thing never broke, right?
Yeah.
But I tell people in 2020, if you're a new brand and you're trying to convince people to try you out, you have to have something like a lifetime warranty. You have to have good customer service and a good warranty or else they're never going to give you a chance. You have to have that just to have a chance of growing and proving yourself to people. So we try to take care of people when they run into something, we've had a couple of guys that have crushed scopes and they've, whatever happened. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. And we take care of them anyway. We do a good job with that. I'm pretty proud of our customer service. We're getting a good reputation. That's
good. And customer service is one of those things that, it will either make you or break you because people talk.
Yeah.
And if someone had a bad experience and they're not going to recommend the company, and a lot of this is based off of recommendations, you go to the range and you see someone that has something, and then next you see, oh, okay, well, how much is that? And you start talking about it. And then if they had a horrible experience, they're like, yeah, I would not recommend that.
That's right. I put myself in the customer's shoes. I bought stuff online. I buy stuff from Amazon. If I buy something from Amazon and it breaks on me after 2 months, I'm mad. I'm not gonna ever order from that company again, right? And I'm gonna tell my friends, stay away from those guys. They're broke, right? So, I just put myself I am what I am. Like, that's how I would be. So why am I gonna act any different to anybody who's buying my product? I wouldn't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Art, for the sweet comment. Okay, so I'm not going to call it sweet. Thanks for the great comment. So Art said, Skip Tactical Solutions, I highly value your reviews and opinions as you speak to a larger audience than some hardcore operator elitists. Thanks for what you do. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate your guys' support, because without you all supporting my channel, then no one would ever get to hear my voice. So I do appreciate everyone showing up, and especially for the live chats. You guys are giving us your attention for at least an hour, and you're showing up and you're supporting. So I appreciate that. All right, so Yarn Dragons asked, do you have an email everyone can sign up for to get notified for all new things? I'm pretty sure you guys have a pop-up email on your website, right?
Yes. And so if you go to the website, swampfoxoptics.com, there's a place to sign up with your email. And when we do product launches, we send out an email and go, hey guys, we got a new product. And we also run sales. And I will sneak it to you guys that are listening right now. We are going to run an amazing sale come July the 4th. Oh my God. Yeah, we're already planning. It's May and we're already planning this thing. We are going to blow the doors off. So we don't do a ton of emails. We don't email you every day or every week like other people do. So when you do get an email from us, check it, because it's going to have a good deal in it. We don't do it all the time. So when you do get an email from us, open that sucker up. But on July 4th, it's going to be newsworthy. It's going to be a big one. So I'm super excited about it. We got some stuff up our sleeves. Not even going to say.
Ooh.
Not even going to say, but it's going to be cool.
So when it comes to the reticles, which color reticle do you find that is more popular?
The green. I like the green more. In the Kingslayers, which is our first generation RMR cut pistol dots, we have a green circle dot and a red circle dot. And I told you I've got astigmatism, right? For some reason, the green doesn't mess with my astigmatism as bad, so I see it more clearly. I have no idea why scientifically. It's just how it works out for my eyes. So I like the green on those. And then also when it comes to like the blade here, I think the green is just a little bit brighter to me. So I prefer the green, and it seems like the green sells really well in the market too. They usually sell pretty darn well. So I'm a green guy, team green, I guess.
So I want you guys to drop down in the comments below, what color are you? I'm definitely team green. I like the green. And what about any other color reticles? Are you guys thinking about that?
Just green and red.
Okay.
On the new ones, the Sentinel and the Liberty and Justice, the new ones that we're about to drop, those are red only, because we wanted a battery life boost. For everyday carry, law enforcement, we needed as much battery life as we could get, right? And that's dictated by the emitter technology of the little emitter that shines the light. The emitters that give you that nice long battery life are only available in red right now. So hopefully you know, eventually we can buy emitters. We don't make our own emitters. We've got to buy them and put them into our scopes. Hopefully the guys that we buy our emitters from come out with a green one that's got good battery life. That would be awesome. But those will only be red for now. I'm definitely team green. There are some other companies that do like blue and amber and stuff, and I don't know how well those are selling. I don't know if that's working out for people or not. But most, you know, like Trigicon is kind of the big standard, you know, with the ACOG. They do red or green. So we kind of followed them a little bit and said, that seems to work pretty well.
I think, what was it? Is it the gold that you can see if you are colorblind?
I've heard about that. I've not looked through one yet. I think like a gold or amber, just now hitting the market. I haven't looked through one. I haven't either. Maybe a year from now or 2 years from now, that's all the rage. You know, who knows? It could go that way.
But I mean, you guys are, doing great with your red and your green, and you have so many different options that are out there. So that is super exciting. I, for one, am going to see if I can get my hands on something to do a review, because I think there are a ton of people on here that are excited about the product. So if you guys are interested in seeing something, make sure that you comment and let us know. I think Art has found his male soulmate here. You are speaking to his pockets, and everyone loves when they can get, I know I love when I can get a good deal. So we have Mike with Swampfox Optics, who absolutely killed it tonight. Like, if we could have done like a 2-hour live chat, I would have absolutely done a 2-hour, so that we can get all the information out here to you guys. And he covered a lot. Like, I appreciate the fact that you were able to break some of the things down and actually explain it. We broke down MIL, MOA. You explained everything. And I also like the fact that you guys are including a lot in your package. And that is something that you don't often see. And that's cutting costs, but then you're also getting the product for a great cost. So you're not having to pay a ton of money to get those additional things added.
Yeah, and here's another example. So I see Joe Q asked, have we tested it out with night vision, right? So dun dun dun. Come on, focus.
Oh, I'll make it bigger. Hold on for 1 second.
Zoom in. There we go. See N1 and N2. Those are the night vision settings on Arrowhead. You get 2 night vision settings that are almost impossible to see with the naked eye. Same thing on Blade. Here's your controls: brightness up, brightness down, up at the top, ambidextrous. So you can reach over, right? I can reach over with this hand, or I can reach over with this hand if I'm a lefty. But we have 10 brightness settings in here, and the first 2 are night vision compatible. So yes, in red or green, you get 2 night vision settings, and in both of those scopes. So yeah, we tested it out.
He's like, yes, we tested it.
No extra charge, night vision settings included.
That is nice.
All right. Yeah, I'm proud of the work we've done.
I'm super excited over here. And it seems like you guys have done a lot in a very small amount of time. Yeah, we have, and there's more coming. Little sneak peek. Well, here, I'll show you this as we close up. So I brought both of these out because there are a lot of companies, a lot of optics companies out here that are importing optics, and they're just slapping their brand name on something that you could have bought 2 or 3 years ago from another company, right? It used to be the Vortex this or the Burris that, and then these guys, Swampfox, they just put their name on the side. I have to fight that accusation a lot, because that's what a lot of companies do. They put their brand name on the side of the same scope you could have bought a year ago. So I'm going to prove to you guys right now that we make our own stuff and we iterate stuff. So this is the alpha prototype of the Tri-Hawk. This is the only one of its kind in the country. And I've got it, and I tested it out, and it didn't make the cut. And one example of how it didn't make the cut, and it wasn't
wasn't good enough is that this is the front of the scope towards the muzzle of the gun, and this is the back of the scope towards the stock of the gun. And when I put it on the AR, I realized, I'm going to back off a little bit so the focus quits messing with me. When I put it on the AR, I realized this battery cap was sitting right in front of my backup iron sight. So if I wanted to change the battery out and unscrew this and pull the battery out of it, I would either have to take this scope off, or I would have to take my rear iron sight off, and then I have to re-zero something, right? So that was dumb. What do we do that for? We just didn't think about it, right? And you can see this thing's old and dusty and beat up. So here is the production tomahawk, ta-da, and I'll orient it the same way. So you can see the shape of this is totally different. See how we've got wings on it now to protect yeah. So on this one, this is the front. So when you use this, I'm looking through this part, and this is the muzzle end, and this is the stock end. And we put this in the front instead of in the back. So my backup iron sight goes back here, and I don't have to move it, and I don't have to move the scope. I just unscrew this, and I can pull the battery out the front. And that was like an easy decision to make. That was an easy change to make. But you can see the difference between these two scopes and how different they are from each other. Alpha prototype, production level. This is a first production run 3X Tri-Hawk prism scope here. So this proves to you guys that we're developing our own scopes, and that, yes, we even make mistakes during the development process that we have to fix later on and figure out a smarter way to do stuff. There it is. That's the proof.
I think that was like a mic drop. He's like, yes, we make our own stuff. I'm about to show you, and then I'm going to drop my mic.
Boom.
All right, so tonight was fantastic. I appreciate you coming on. This was really informative, and I want you, if you're watching this video, comment and let us know if you learned anything, and if you've just been turned on to a new company that you may not have necessarily heard a lot about. And while you're doing that, what we're going to do is we're going to do a sticker pack giveaway for those of you who are on the live. And I think Mike said that he may be able to scrounge up something to give us for a giveaway, guys. All right, so sticker pack giveaway. If you would like to win a sticker pack, all you have to do is comment sticker pack in the comments, okay? And this is only for those who are on the live. So the sticker will be, it's a Glock. We have a Palmetto State Armory. We talked about Arrow tonight, Arrow Precision.
There you go.
We have a PSA shot show. Another Glock. A CMC.
CMC triggers are good triggers, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love CMC.
Yep. Good guys.
This is a Sky sticker. And I had a skip sticker in there as well.
Nice.
So all you guys have to do is comment a sticker pack in the comments. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to let Mike close out with any last things that he would like to share.
Guys, if you're looking for a good deal on a scope, I know a guy. We're making good stuff. It really is good stuff. And I'm so happy to be here. Skip, it was great to see you. I'm so happy that you remember me from so long ago. It's cool to see how we both, grown into new roles, and we're doing our thing, and it's going good for both of us. For the people that are watching it online, you guys had great questions tonight. And like I said before, look for people who need your help and be that help for them. they're going to remember you later on. They're going to remember that you were a good person. And, you know, look for people that need help, because they're out there, and they'll, you know, I was in that place myself a long time ago. And some people helped me out, and now I'm living a cool life. I shoot guns every weekend, and I help design scopes, and I go on YouTube, and it's all cool now, but it wasn't always like that, right? So we got to take care of each other, guys. Stick together.
Absolutely. And I want to remind you all that Mother's Day is coming up. Yeah. Do not be that person that forgets. So this is a quick skip tip for tonight. If you have not already went out, well, you're probably not really going out many places, but if you have not already ordered your Mother's Day gift, please go ahead and do that so that you don't get in trouble. And if you don't get in trouble, then you'll be able to tune in next Tuesday, okay? So go ahead, grab your gift. And if you want to get a gift off of skipstacticalsolutions.com, feel free to head there and purchase a gift, and it will get shipped out ASAP. So all purchases get shipped out within 24 hours of the order. So if you need to get her a concealed carry holster, or you want to get her a bag or gun cleaning kit, whatever you want to get her, you can head over to my website so that you can get it for her. That's funny. So Art said I need a sticker pack for Mother's Day. All right, so if you want to drop the comment sticker pack to be able to win a sticker pack, and Mike, do you want to let them know where they can follow you or Swampfox Optics?
We're on Facebook and we're on Instagram. So just look up for Swampfox Optics in either place. That's where we do our social media. I'm on AR15.com and the optics forum too. There's a big thread about Swampfox where I ask their questions, and, you know, people give me ideas. Heck, man, the reason these are night vision compatible is because the guy on AR15.com was like, hey, nobody's making a night vision compatible prism scope. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. So, you know, like, those are places where you can find us, but we're definitely all over Facebook and Instagram. I know, David, the ranges are closed. I'm so lucky that I can still hit the range here in Texas. Woo, Texas.
All right. So everyone has entered for the sticker pack, and Mike said he will try to scrounge up something. So if you're in the live chat, that will be a separate sticker pack, right? But make sure that you go to the comments below after this video, and that's how you're going to be able to enter the giveaway with Mike. So all you have to do once this video is over, go to the comments and type in Swampfox Optics, okay? Swampfox Optics. That's how we're going to know that you want to be entered for that giveaway. And make sure that you stay tuned next week, because we will be able to announce that for you. So the winner of this week's giveaway is Karen Rodriguez. So thank you so much for everyone who entered. Karen, congratulations. She won a sticker pack. Karen said, can you leave the info for us on your page? Absolutely. So what I will do is, in the description of this video, I will leave the links for Swampfox Optics, and I will leave their Facebook, their Instagram, and their website, just in case you want to check them all out. And make sure if you reach out that you let them know that you heard about them from Skip's Tactical Solutions, all right? So thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. I thoroughly enjoyed having you on tonight, Mike. I learned some stuff from you, and I'm pretty sure the audience learned something from you as well.
Great. It was great. I had a fun time.
I did too. So we'll have to get together and do something else. And I want you all to make sure that you stay safe. Enjoy your Mother's Day weekend. And every single Tuesday, we have our Tactical Tuesday live stream. So Tactical Tuesday will be ending after the month of March. So tune in every Tuesday for our Tactical Tuesday live chats. And if there's anybody that you want me to have on for Tactical Tuesday, make sure that you let me know, because I have to get the interviews in now. So I appreciate each and every one of you for showing up tonight and every single time that you show up. So have a happy and a safe weekend, guys. I will see you next Tuesday. Bye, guys.